I'll tell you what, I can't wait to see what happens. There you see Carmichael pulling up to the line. McGrath getting everything all set. Skip Norfolk keeping the bike running for him. He'll take those goggles off, get a new set. Get a little bit of dirt on him during that warm-up lap. You see how important it is to focus of McGrath, making sure that bike is lined up perfect. Because the start of this race could be the race. Carmichael is on tonight. Jeremy's got to stay with him.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's main event. RC tries to improve on his third place of last week, and Jeremy McGrath is looking for his second win. Ezra Lusk continues his comeback. Kevin Windham on a new Suzuki. The 250 rookie for Team Kawasaki, Stefan Roncada, the veteran Mike Morocco. David Milliman tries to rebound after a disappointing opening round. Tim Ferry on the four-stroke Yamaha. Nick Way surprising a few on the 250 as he warms up for the 125 East Series. Heat Boss, Privateer of the Year, and Pastrana and Byrne. As we take a look at the rest of the starting lineup, Michael Brown back in the United States from the GPs. Michael Craig, he won the Supercross in Tampa in '94. Jason Thomas, Big Iron Man from last year. 30-second board is up. When it goes sideways, you'll hear these engines rev up, and the gate will drop anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds after it goes sideways. The three big guns, all within 4 bikes on the starting gate. Round 2 of EA Sports Supercross from San Diego is about to begin. Carmichael to the inside. And Jeremy McGrath bar to bar. Oh, right off the start. The two qualifying heat winners are battling it out. Kevin Windham in third. Jeremy McGrath has taken the lead. Carmichael has to keep on the pressure. Roncada went down.
Lusk is right there, right where he needs to be. Pastrana just inboarding the whoop just off our camera.
The crowd's going bananas already here in the first lap as Ricky Carmichael doesn't want to let him off the hook.
There's Pastrana. He went end over end. It doesn't look like he's going to finish this main event. Hopefully he's not injured and he'll be able to ride the 125 East healthy.
That won't come up till Indianapolis. Here comes Carmichael bar to bar on the straightaway. He gives way, cuts to the inside against the Icon.
Here's what's important. I talked to Ricky. He goes, you know what? I don't know if Jeremy can race for 20 laps. The guy's offering for 15, but no one ever pressures him the whole way. That's what I want to do.
And Kevin Windham getting into the act there in third. Almost rubbed with Ricky Carmichael on the turn. Carmichael staying close. He's patient right now. But on the ropes, he likes that inside line.
Tell you what, right behind Ezra Lusk, David Milliman. Well, these guys are starting to close up.
Let's go down to Davies. Ricky Carmichael takes the lead.
Amazing battle for the lead. Travis Pastrana, Team Suzuki, 17-year-old rider, has gone down hard. He's laying on the side of the track. They got a backboard out. He looks like he's up and he's moving, but he is not going to finish this race. Pastrana is out.
Ricky Carmichael has taken the lead, and Jeremy McGrath is trying to fight back. Right behind him is Kevin Windham. Oh, hold on to your hats. The top 5 are in contention.
This is the test for Carmichael. Oh, big mistake right there. You can't force those against McGrath.
And Jeremy leaps over him, but Carmichael's not that far off. Can he do it again against the 7-time champion?
Carmichael will never give up. He is so strong. I believe he's stronger than McGrath. He believes he's stronger than McGrath, so he is not going to get tired.
Great shot at how high they fly over the triples. Ricky Carmichael rode smart and had a mature race in the season's opener, finishing in third. But right now he smells blood, and he cannot let McGrath get too far away. Windham is having his best race.
Unbelievable battle we're having. This reminds me of Tampa a couple of years ago when Windham sat about where he's sitting right now. Didn't have the pressure. He was able to apply it. He may be a factor here at the end.
Well, if Windham and Carmichael get into it, that would allow Jeremy McGrath a great advantage. It's Lusk in fourth, right behind Windham. Lusk, number 11, excuse me, David.
Milliman was right there with Lusk in this battle. He made a mistake and has dropped off the pace. The next guy in line after these guys is Larocco, and he will catch him.
A 2-second lead for McGrath as we watch Travis Pastrana being led off the track.
Well, they brought a stretcher over there. I'm glad to see him walking. Here's Travis right there. Watch, he goes end over end. Bam! Right into a whoop. The bike doesn't really pound him in there like it could have. He was a little bit lucky. Good thing he wore the chest protector, Art.
And they're lucky that Michael Craig got around him there in close action. Back up front we go. Ricky Carmichael now has closed the gap to a 1.5 seconds. As Wyndham is right behind him, and here comes Ezra Lusk as he tries to make a move in the roof. 16 laps to go. Endurance will be a big part. In San Diego, it is bar to bar. The Carmichael and McGrath. McGrath, I haven't seen him challenge this long into a race in quite some time.
Going into that corner, Art, he had to play a little bit of defense. You don't see that from McGrath very often. He's starting to have to ride Ricky Carmichael's race a little bit. It never happens. Ricky knows he's in the driver's seat. This is what he has dreamed about. You know what? I got a hunch. Jeremy is kind of glad to have somebody step up and have this challenge.
Ricky Carmichael winning his first Supercross, as David said earlier, at Daytona. But he really has not won one on a nice, tight track like this. It's like more of an indoor stadium track, even though we're outdoors here at Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. Carmichael is not letting McGrath off the hook, and they have extended their lead on third place, as we see Kevin Windham right there in third.
Now that gives you an idea. Lusk was very much on the pace last week. He was able to keep Carmichael back there and stay pretty much in the hunt with McGrath. And they cannot match the pace of these guys out front. They have just taken it to a whole new level here.
Here's Carmichael to the inside. He's got the edge. And back. Oh, my goodness. Look at the acceleration McGrath got out of that Yamaha.
He knew Ricky wouldn't be able to hold the inside of that corner. Planned it perfect.
Jeremy's such an intelligent rider that you not only have to beat him condition-wise, you're beating the greatest rider in the world if you take him at the checkered flag. Jeremy McGrath with a 4th place here last year. That was the worst placement of the season. He had another 4th place, I believe it was in Dallas.
This is a big mental war right now. McGrath makes a mistake, can't do that triple, but Ricky couldn't either. A big mental war. If McGrath loses this battle, he loses a little bit of confidence. He gets a little bit of a dent in it. Right now, if Ricky can win this battle, he'll gain a lot. And let Jeremy know he can win anytime it's indoors.
McGrath unable to pull away in the whoops. Well, the guy that won this race last year, David Villeman, still is having his troubles this year. Number 934 is in 7th place. Back to the leaders we go. And why not? Bike-to-bike action. Carmichael goes to the outside. And the crowd's on their feet. We still have 12 laps to go of this.
McGrath blocked that corner perfect. He knew what Ricky was thinking, and he covered the line.
Ricky never raced 125s here. He was an East Coast rider, and here he goes with the boat. Ricky Carmichael blitzing the woods to the inside. He takes the corner, and once again they're saying hello to each other's boots. Ricky Carmichael has regained the lead. McGrath, look at that black pass.
Ricky did a good job to keep that bike on 2 wheels. His front wheel drifted all the way up over the berm. Oh, McGrath gets wide.
And Ricky Carmichael was in the good position to take advantage of it. Remember, McGrath lost the front brakes here last year and still finished 4th.
Watch McGrath come out of the corner. He gets over the berm. The rear wheel wasn't set in it. I just talked about Carmichael, saving it a couple corners ago. McGrath, another beautiful save to stay in this battle. It's not over yet. Lucky Carmichael wasn't any closer, otherwise they would have made contact. That might have handed the lead to LaRocco, who's in 3rd and closing.
Look after LaRocco on this type of track, David.
It's a little bit of an outdoor-style racetrack because the soil is so soft. The corners are starting to get deep berms in them. You got to pick lines just like an outdoor race. That's where LaRocco really shines.
LaRocco is only 3 seconds in back of McGrath with 10 laps to go. It's Carmichael, McGrath, and LaRocco. We'll be right back to San Diego in a moment.
Finally made McGrath say uncle. I talked with Jeremy before the season got started, and he said, I know Ricky is going to be fast at time. He goes, and if it's not coming to me and I got to really take big chances to stay with his speed, I'll take my second or third or whatever it is, but for 16 races, I think I can beat him. Right now, Ricky has forced Jeremy to go to plan B. It's very deep. See how deep all the soil is in spots. They're starting to get a lot of ruts. It's taken on a little bit of an outdoor feel, which is where Ricky does so well. Last week was hard-packed slick, requires precision, and that's where Jeremy's a little bit better.
Mike LaRocco, number 5. Amsoil Honda in 3rd. Ezra Lusk in 4th. And Kevin Windham rounding out the top 5.
Look at LaRocco. This guy is the invisible man. I mean, he does so well. He comes through the pack, catches all these guys, but no one ever focuses on him. They focus on the battle out front, the battle's behind him, but right now, they're going to focus on him because he is catching Jeremy.
Oh, this would be important for the points race. That's for sure. Because if it finishes in this order right now, McGrath would still lead Carmichael by 2 points.
Well, that could all change if LaRocco can get around him.
The lappers playing a part here.
They are. They were working in the favor of Jeremy and Carmichael a little while ago, and LaRocco lost a lot of time, but he made it all back up. That tells me one thing. He's faster than Jeremy. Jeremy is going to have to pick it up here, or it's going to be 3rd place.
LaRocco gunning for his best finish of the season and his first podium.
I don't know if LaRocco's ever passed McGrath, Art. I can't remember a time when he's done it.
It seems to me there was one time, but I can't pull it out of the file cabinet upstairs right now.
Well, it's about to happen unless Jeremy steps it up big time.
This is the kind of track LaRocco loves. And Mike LaRocco is now starting to challenge Jeremy McGrath. We've got 3 laps to go. 2 laps to go as the leader has just jumped over the finish line jump. 2 laps to go. Here's LaRocco with the back pass on the inside.
This could get Jeremy all fired up again.
Oh, my goodness. Jeremy McGrath will try to come back now with less than 2 laps remaining. Mike LaRocco gunning for a 2nd place. He had so many 2nd place runner-up finishes last year in back of Jeremy McGrath.
Well, let's think about this. LaRocco has gotten around McGrath, pulled away slightly, and is still closing on Carmichael, so winning this thing for LaRocco is not out of the question.
Ricky Carmichael reaching back now as Mike LaRocco takes the white flag.
Looks like he's broken free from Jeremy. He's not quite close enough to Carmichael. Jeremy, it all came pretty easy to him the last week. He may have got in the mindset, well, I'm right where I need to be. These guys all got frustrated with their performances last week, especially Ricky, and they stepped it up. Jeremy stayed where he was, and maybe not quite enough here.
Well, if they finish in this order, it's a tied points race. We've got some excitement going back to Anaheim in the next round. I'll tell you, Jeremy McGrath is not out of trouble right now because he's got Ezra Lusk behind him. And Ricky Carmichael can feel it. He can see it. He wins his 2nd Supercross of his career, winning the San Diego Supercross. Mike LaRocco closing in fast with 2nd place honors. Jeremy McGrath ending up in 3rd with Ezra Lusk in 4th. And it'll be Kevin Windham finishing in 5th. The happy young man from northern Florida gets the congratulations of the 7-time champion Jeremy McGrath.
The time when he passed Jeremy through the whoops, that was sheer strength and sheer confidence going, you know what, I can hang on to this bike no matter what happens, no matter how bad it kicks me through here. I'm going to hold this thing straight and pass this guy. And when he knows I passed him this way, he might just say uncle, and he did. find your first share ever of the points lead. You're tied with McGrath.
Feels great, Davey. I tell you, Chevy trucks, Kawasaki, can't say enough. I've been working, and it's like, man, am I ever going to win one? And I finally did it, and that's the way I wanted to do it. Me and Jeremy was battling it out, and I dug deep past that halfway mark, and was doing this timing section over here, and I think that's what helped me out a lot, man. I tell you, it was great.
You were riding real close to Jeremy there, back and forth. A lot of times we see riders back off from that challenge, but you went right at him, and now you finally beat him. How's that feel?
Oh, it feels good, you know, I'm glad he got up at the start with me, too. I didn't want to win my first one, you know, by getting a good start and something happened to Jeremy, but I was behind him and pressuring him, and he made a few mistakes along with myself, and I can't say enough. I'm happy. It was a fun race.
Fantastic ride, Rick.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Carmichael's conditioning program matching his skill to win San Diego. The victory throwing him into a first-place tie with Jeremy McGrath going into Anaheim for round number 3. LaRocco's second place put him into a third-place tie with Lusk in the points. Villeman rounding out the top 5. 2 125 riders making it into the top 10, Ramsey and Way. Pastrana's future a bit more defined. Let's go now back to Davey.
Thanks, you guys. I'm down here with a couple of guys who put in a heck of a race tonight, just not quite what Carmichael did. First of all, Mike LaRocco, David Bailey calls you the invisible man. You come out of nowhere in these races. Tonight, Carmichael just a little more ahead of you.
You've heard that before, huh? No, what can I say? I mean, my Amsoil Doc Martens competition accessories Honda it worked great. I mean, the track for what we had this week in rain was good, and you know, my bike worked good. Felt good out there.
What about, how do you think Carmichael's doing now? Does he have momentum? Is it still going to Jeremy? Or what about you? Bad starts coming up to second.
You know, my starts are better. I've been going into the corner good. I've been squirreling out the first lap. So once I get that straightened out, I'm not really concerned about, you know, getting off the gate. The Honda pulls real good. So I think I'm going to be there. Right now, I think it's pretty much a mix. I mean, everybody's riding good and everybody's there. So it's going to be a tough series.
And Jeremy, what about you? That was an unbelievable race for about 10 laps, but it seemed like, you know, I've heard it said before, you know when to ride at the pace you want to ride. You know what your limitations are. Did you reach that point and decide to back off?
Well, Davey, the track was really bumpy and ruddy out there, and Ricky and I had a great dice there, and I think one of my mistakes is I don't think I was breathing, and I kind of got a little tight, and he was riding really relaxed because the guy was making some squirrely mistakes, and he was still pulling it off, and I think I was a little weak in the whoops tonight for some reason, and you're right. I mean, I tamed it down a little bit, and then LaRocco snuck up on me there at the end.
I'll tell you what, it must have been fun to finally race with someone. I mean, you didn't get the win, but you had someone up there with you for one.
Yeah, you know, I could hear the fans. That was awesome. I mean, and it was a great game out there. You know, we were riding square and passing each other back and forth without any of the dirty moves, and I love that. And, you know, congratulations to Ricky. He rode a great race. And I'm going to have to come back and get him next week.
Jeremy has a habit of coming back with a vengeance. Join us on ESPN2 at noon Eastern on the 27th for all the action from Anaheim. It's back-to-back 125 and 250 shows. Ricky Carmichael reaches the expectations of many, giving us a points race here in the 250s with his second Supercross win. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Jones, thanks for being with us. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information,